The Bold and the Beautiful, BNB. Spoilers suggest that Steffy Forrester Finnegan's, Jacqueline McInnes Wood, familial allegiance is being questioned. Steffy usually has a Forresters come first attitude, but she recruited Melissa Dillon, Sydney Bullock, knowing that it would cause problems with Electra Forrester. Even Dillon had doubts in BNB's March 11th episode, but Steffy argued that the relationship trouble was none of her business. Steffy pretended that Electra's feelings shouldn't influence Dillon's decision to accept her new Forrester position. Dillon expressed worry about Electra's reaction to the news, but Steffy offered that they could still work things out as friends. Regardless, Steffy was determined to hire Dillon, but did she make the correct decision? It was good to see Steffy recognize Dillon's trauma and desire to do something to help her. Given how much Hayes Finnegan, Brian David Garlick, respects Dillon and how much havoc Luna Nozawa, Lisa Yamada, has experienced, it makes logical for Steffy to step up. Steffy usually has no difficulty butting into other people's business, so it was wonderful to see her break away from that habit. In this scenario, Steffy simply wants to give Dillon a decent job and believes that whatever is going on with Electra should not interfere with that. Despite Electra's attempts to persuade Steffy in the upcoming episodes, it would be amazing to see Steffy hold firm. Some may argue that Steffy is a disloyal Forrester, but perhaps it is exactly what is required to freshen up this tale. After all, Steffy is the boss, so she gets to decide whether Dillon stays or leaves. Steffy has every right to keep Dillon on the Forrester Creations team, despite Electra's protests. In other words, Steffy may be disloyal to Electra and betraying the Forrester Code. But so what? Steffy is in charge, and she should not be forced to bear the same grudges as Electra or let her romantic mistakes define how Forrester is run. According to the Bold and the Beautiful spoilers, this Dillon problem will have an impact on Electra and Steffy's relationship, so keep an eye out for all of the family drama. Decisions in the beautiful yet turbulent world of Los Angeles fashion, where familial ties intersect with corporate power struggles at Forrester Creations, are rarely without consequences. Steffy Forrester Finnegan, co-CEO and fierce curator of the family's legacy, has long positioned herself as the ultimate defender of the Forrester name. Her philosophy of putting family first has guided her through numerous crises, ranging from personal betrayals to professional conflicts. However, a recent move has provoked heated disagreement among fans and inside the plot itself. Her decision to welcome Melissa Dillon, a newbie with a difficult background, into the company fold. This hiring has not only given Dillon a new start, but it has also greatly hurt Electra Forrester, a young family member who feels excluded and misled. The issue naturally arises: is Steffy betraying the same Forrester ideas she advocates, or is she simply practicing the pragmatic leadership that the corporation requires? To comprehend the gravity of this decision, one must examine Steffy's track record. She has spent years negotiating the harsh world of high fashion, frequently putting the survival and prosperity of Forrester Creations ahead of personal feelings. When challenges from competitors like Bill Spencer or internal family conflicts occur, Steffy quickly rallies the troops under the banner of togetherness. She has protected the company from takeovers, supported her father Ridge through his numerous personal relationships, and even forgiven betrayals when they suited the greater good. Her commitment to the Forrester legacy is measured, based on the premise that the firm must grow in order for the family to survive. Steffy appears to have used the same approach when recruiting Dillon. Dillon, who is portrayed as having endured tremendous hardships, possibly including the aftermath from previous incidents involving Luna or other dramatic entanglements, represents a chance for redemption and talent infusion. Steffy believes she has promise as a model, assistant, or creative contributor who can offer new energy to the team. By extending this olive branch, Steffy may be living up to her reputation as a forward-thinking businesswoman who prioritizes merit and compassion over petty grudges. However, the optics are less than perfect when viewed through the prism of familial hierarchy. Electra Forrester, Eric Forrester's young and ambitious great-niece, has lately joined the Forrester family. Arriving in Los Angeles with her Aunt Ivy to relaunch the jewelry brand, Electra swiftly won over the family with her zeal and new vision. She has made contacts, including a growing romance with Will Spencer, and has established herself as a vital asset to the company's younger demographic projects. Her part, while maybe secondary to Steffi's dominant presence, is emblematic of a new generation of Forresters rising to the occasion. Steffi's decision to bring Dylan on board, knowing full well the stress it would cause, especially considering Dylan's previous proximity to Will and the emotional issues that had already affected Electra's personal life, felt like a clear disdain of Electra's feelings and standing. Electra is furious not only because she is jealous of Will, but also because she feels excluded. Why prioritize an outsider when a blood relative is right there, willing to help? This approach throws into question the hidden Forrester ethic that blood comes before business, which Steffi has previously used to explain difficult decisions. The tension rises as the hiring touches on numerous layers of conflict. Dylan's history makes her a wild card. She has expressed reservations about accepting the role since she expects reaction from Electra. Steffi, undeterred, assures her that personal matters should be kept separate from professional ones, asking everyone to leave drama at the door. This position is typical Steffi, pragmatic and authoritative, but it risks alienating people who regard family harmony as the foundation of the company's prosperity. Electra's reaction has been passionate. Spoilers indicate that she confronts Dylan directly, yells about the news, and may even advocate for changes or alliances to resist the choice. Ivy, Electra's aunt and a Forrester with a history of feuds with Steffi, has reportedly declared war on the hire, deeming it inappropriate and disrespectful to family dynamics. This could lead to deeper schisms, bringing in other cousins such as Ridge, Eric, or even RJ, who may sympathize with Electra's viewpoint as a member of the younger generation. Critics of Steffi's decision contend that true loyalty would entail consulting Electra or reaching a compromise that does not pit family members against one another. In a firm where personal and professional lives blend seamlessly, avoiding the emotional impact appears short-sighted. Electra's pain extends beyond workplace competition to her journey of discovering her place in a legendary family. She grew up outside of the immediate LA group and has worked hard to prove herself. So seeing a newbie inserted in, especially one tied to her marital woes, feels like a slap. If Steffi is ready to upset a Forrester for the sake of business, does not this undermine the very unity she claims to uphold? Some fans draw connections to other episodes in which Steffi has bent the rules for outsiders, such as her partnerships with outsiders during crises, implying a habit of favoring control over kinship. On the other hand, justifying Steffi's actions demonstrates the difficulties of operating a worldwide fashion enterprise. Forrester Creations is not a charity or a family club. It is a competitive corporation with ongoing innovation needs. Steffi, as a leader, must make decisions that strengthen the brand, even if they ruffle feathers. Dylan may have distinct skills or attraction that Electra, who is still establishing herself, cannot match. Steffi's determination on keeping personal concerns out of the workplace reflects corporate professionalism, which has kept the company viable during scandals. Furthermore, Steffi has demonstrated compassion here. After Dylan's troubles, granting her a job is a gesture of goodwill that is consistent with the Forresters' occasional generosity to those in need. To consider it disloyal ignores the nuances. Loyalty to family does not imply that nepotism overcomes talent. Steffi believes that the team can cohabit, that Electra will evolve and adapt, and that the organization benefits from diversity in its ranks. The consequences of this decision will most certainly play out over several weeks, with confrontations, alliances, and maybe unexpected twists. Electra may rally support from Ivy or others who feel ignored, resulting in a power battle within the hallways of Forrester Creations. Steffi might double down and prove her position through outcomes if Dylan's contributions are successful. Alternatively, in typical soap opera tradition, revelations about Dylan's history or hidden objectives could validate Electra's suspicions, compelling Steffi to reconsider. Regardless, this moment puts Steffi's leadership to the test in ways that few others have. It prompts the audience to consider whether steadfast family devotion is sustainable in a competitive sector or whether adaptability and difficult decisions define true legacy stewardship. Finally, Steffi's hiring of Dylan symbolizes the show's central tension, the conflict between heart and mind, blood and commerce. On the surface, it may appear disloyal, upsetting a young forester and favoring an outsider, but it also displays a CEO's right to steer the ship as she sees suitable. Steffi has never shied away from controversy, and her bold move fits into her habit of decisive action. Whether it irreversibly damages family relationships or enhances the company through essential transformation remains to be seen. In the ever-dramatic world of the Forrestas, such tensions are the fuel that keeps the plot burning bright, reminding viewers that even the most devoted can crumble when personal and professional worlds intersect so violently. The debate over Steffi's allegiance will rage on long after the episode's broadcast, as fans balance the cost of ambition versus the price of family unity in this legendary soap opera tale. In the ever-changing world of fashion dynasties, convoluted loyalties, and personal conflicts, few people elicit as much controversy among fans as Steffi. Her decisions have frequently straddled the line between bold leadership and personal bias, and her most recent move, bringing Dylan into the fold, has revived the debate over where her true devotion rests. For a family whose name is synonymous with prestige, power, and legacy, every executive decision has far-reaching ramifications. Steffi's decision to recruit Dylan has proven to be one of those, particularly now that ELECTRA is caught up in the emotional repercussions. The central topic in the debate is whether Steffi is still operating in the best interests of the Forrester family, or if her judgment has been tainted by personal considerations. For someone raised to safeguard the Forrester legacy, accusations of disloyalty are taken seriously. However, as tensions rise and emotions run high, even the most powerful leaders may appear to lose sight of the big picture. Steffi has always been known for her staunch independence and readiness to make risky decisions. Unlike certain family members who value prudence and consensus, she thrives on direct action. That attribute has served her well in the fashion industry, where timing and confidence are often crucial to success. However, boldness can cause tension, particularly when others believe their concerns have been neglected. The employment of Dylan is an excellent example. On paper, Dylan appears to be an asset, someone with talent, ambition, and new ideas. Steffi might easily claim that bringing in new energy strengthens the organization. The fashion industry depends on innovation, and complacency is frequently the quickest way to irrelevance. If Dylan can assist propel the company forward, the decision may be viewed as pragmatic rather than controversial. However, business decisions are rarely made in isolation in this family. Personal ties frequently merge with professional ones, resulting in a web of emotions that complicates even the most basic decisions. In this example, ELECTRA's reaction transformed what should have been a simple hiring choice into a highly personal battle. ELECTRA feels caught off guard, if not betrayed. Whether her concerns derive from previous interactions with Dylan or from the perception that her voice was neglected, the outcome is the same: hurt and resentment. In a family-run business where trust and communication are expected to be key, being excluded from such a critical choice might feel like a disrespect of both personal feelings and professional status. Steffi, on the other hand, is likely to believe she was acting within her rights. As a leader, she is responsible for making decisions that she believes will benefit the firm as a whole. Waiting for majority consent in every case may hinder growth and reduce the brand's competitive advantage. From her perspective, indecision may be more harmful than conflict. However, leadership in a family business involves more than simply strategic thinking. It necessitates emotional intelligence and knowledge of how your actions influence people closest to you. Critics say Steffi faltered here. By proceeding with Dylan's hire despite ELECTRA's reservations, she may have unintentionally conveyed that corporate objectives trump family unity. The circumstance also raises concerns about Dylan himself. Is he just a brilliant professional caught up in someone else's conflict, or is there more to his presence than meets the eye? In a world where secrets are frequently hidden behind polished smiles, Dylan's entrance may have unintended consequences. ELECTRA's reply indicates that her concerns are not superficial. She doesn't just appear irritated, she appears genuinely concerned. That level of emotional intensity suggests a deeper past or unresolved conflict. If Dylan represents something traumatic or scary in her background, Steffi's action may seem less like a business decision and more like a personal disdain for her well-being. For Steffi, combining empathy and authority is never easy. She has spent years showing her leadership abilities in an industry driven by strong personalities. Stepping back now may feel like compromising the authority she worked so hard to acquire. Admitting that she misread the issue could allow others to question her leadership. However, neglecting to acknowledge ELECTRA's feelings could have long-term consequences. Family businesses thrive when its members feel valued and heard. When someone feels ostracized, resentment can slowly build until it erupts in ways that jeopardize both relationships and company stability. Observers of the circumstance may say that Steffi's decision reflects her long-held predisposition to value strength and control. She rarely backs down when she knows she is correct. This tenacious streak has helped her overcome numerous obstacles, but it may also make compromise tough. Meanwhile, ELECTRA looks to be grappling with the feeling that her trust has been betrayed. Even if Steffi did not mean to create harm, intention and impact are not often synonymous. What matters to ELECTRA is the outcome. Dylan has become a part of the landscape she must navigate every day. The emotional consequences may affect more than just their connection. Unresolved conflict can pollute the atmosphere in a workplace where teamwork is essential for creativity. Designers, executives, and employees are inevitably aware of leadership disagreements. When the people at the top disagree, it can cause confusion across the organization. Another thing aggravating matters is the Forrester legacy itself. The enterprise is more than just a business. It represents family pride and tradition. Every action made within its walls bears the weight of this past. If Steffi is thought to be working against family unity, detractors may question if she is upholding the brand's founding ideals. However, loyalty can be construed in various ways. For some, loyalty is protecting family members and avoiding decisions that bring them sorrow. For some, loyalty entails making difficult decisions to ensure the company's success, even if they are unpopular. Steffi probably views herself in the latter type. She may believe that strengthening the company will protect the family's future. If Dylan contributes to innovation, growth, and relevance in a highly competitive industry, his hire may be justified as a strategic investment. ELECTRA's point of view calls into question that assumption. To her, loyalty may imply valuing those who have supported the company through its highs and lows. Bringing in someone who threatens that sense of security may feel like surrendering trust for ambition. The truth is most likely somewhere in the middle of these two opinions. Leadership frequently necessitates difficult decisions, which inevitably anger someone. The issue is to discover strategies to handle these effects without enabling them to spiral into long-term divisions. Communication will be critical going forward. If Steffi truly wishes to retain both business success and family unity, she may need to have a conversation with ELECTRA that goes beyond simple explanations. Truly listening to the issues stated may help repair some of the confidence that has been eroded. At the same time, ELECTRA may have to accept the fact that change is unavoidable. Companies adapt, new employees join, and old dynamics change. Holding on to resentment may prevent her from adapting to situations that may eventually be useful. Dylan's performance in this play is also worth watching intently. If he demonstrates professionalism, respect, and a true commitment to the company's success, he may be able to gradually alleviate some of the tension. Actions typically speak louder than reputations, and consistent behavior can shift opinions over time. However, if Dylan's presence continues to cause strife, the strain on Steffi will increase. She may be forced to examine if the benefits he provides outweigh the persistent strain on family relationships. For fans who have been following these characters for years, the situation feels like a textbook example of how personal history and professional desire meet. No decision exists in a vacuum, and even the most rational option can become contentious when emotions are involved. Steffi's journey has always been characterized by resilience and persistence. She has worked to establish her place in a lineage that includes powerful figures and complex expectations. The recent confrontation with ELECTRA could simply be another chapter in the continuing struggle. Still, the accusation of disloyalty has a special sting. For someone reared in the Forrester tradition, loyalty is more than just a phrase. It is a defining characteristic. Being viewed as unfaithful calls into question not only Steffi's decisions, but also her familial identity. The validity of that notion remains debatable. Some will argue that leadership sometimes requires upsetting people in order to pursue progress. Others will argue that great leadership seeks ways to accomplish achievement while maintaining trust. The real test will be Steffi's reaction to the fallout. Doubling down on her decision may strengthen her influence, but risk widening the schism with ELECTRA. Seeking compromise may help to restore relationships, but it may also undercut the message that she is steadfast in her beliefs. ELECTRA's future steps are as critical. She might face the matter openly, forcing Steffi to recognize the emotional implications of the employment decision. Alternatively, she could remove herself, allowing frustration to boil below the surface. Neither approach promises a solution, but one thing is certain. The conflict between them will continue to influence both personal dynamics and professional results. Conflicts of this nature are nearly unavoidable in the high-stakes setting of a fashion enterprise founded on tradition and passion. Strong personalities, opposing visions, and emotional histories intersect every day. The presence of conflict does not decide the future. Rather, how the people involved choose to deal with it does. Steffi's hiring of Dylan may turn out to be either a smart move that boosts the organization or a misstep that strains crucial connections. The answer will be determined not only by Dylan's performance, but also by everyone's willingness to confront the emotional issues at the heart of the controversy. For the time being, the question has not been resolved. Is Steffi a disloyal Forrester, or merely a decisive leader making difficult decisions? The response is most likely determined by one's position in the delicate balance of family loyalty and economic ambition. It is apparent that the consequences of this decision are far from ended. As passions simmer and alliances shift, the actual ramifications of Dylan's arrival and Steffi's daring decision are only beginning to emerge.